All right, so day 4. We've gone yesterday, we got a couple wins under your belt. Now I want to go back to mindsets. Back and forth is the way that I like to do it. Of course, at the end of this video, go down, do your sentence completion stems. This is something that I did literally for weeks back in 2012 when I started, and when I go back, I cannot even describe the impact that it has made when I look at the mindset that I had then versus the way that I feel today. It is incredible the amount of growth that you can make just by doing these. And then tomorrow we'll talk about what exactly to do with them. So, sentence completion later. For now, what I want to do is actually something that I introduced to you earlier in the first impressions module. And it's this idea that the words that you use actually impact your experience of your own life, right? So when you walk up to someone and they ask you how you're doing, you say, "I'm good, man, I'm good." Instead of being good, if you're, "I'm phenomenal, man, how are you?" That actually doesn't just change what you're saying, it changes how you feel about your day, particularly if you make it a habit and that's consistent. So, what I want to do today is start to identify maybe some words that you're using that are making you feel less good than you could, and words that you could be using that are going to make you feel better. Because again, confidence comes down to emotional control. If you can control how you feel, you can choose to be confident, high energy, positive, rather than feeling down in the dumps and stressed. And I can tell you, I see this all the time. Two people who work the same job, right? They come home from work at the end of the day, they get there. First guy gets home, you ask him how he's doing, he goes, "Oh my God, I got work to the bone today, so stressed." Okay, like, sure. But as soon as he says those words, that is his experience of the day. Versus somebody else comes home and you ask them how to do it, they say, "Man, like it was a little bit harder at work today, like I'm excited to unwind." That phrase, right, which they've actually been repeating to themselves the entire day, make no mistake, this isn't just what you say to other people, it's what you tell yourself in your own self-talk. That's going to affect how you interpret the same exact events. That somebody else might be furious, pissed, stressed, and you can be light as a feather, happy, comfortable, and confident. So, step 1 for this is a tool that I learned from Tony Robbins, huge debt of gratitude to him for this. Write down, now if you would, all of the emotions that you are likely to feel in 1 week. And if you want, you can even pick the past week. So go ahead, get your word processor, right? Get your pen and paper, whatever it is they're using. You need to write these down. It's not enough to just say them in your head because I need you to be able to look at them. So start writing. And if you're curious, like most people have happy, blah, 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 you know, whatever words that you have, I'll give you 15 seconds now. I'm just going to sort of twiddle my thumbs here and let you go ahead and do this. You can write awkward too, because that's how I feel right now, standing in front of a camera and not being able to say anything. Cool. All right, so if you need to, continue to finish writing, wrap them up if you would. But the idea is, look how many you have. Now, most people tend to tap out around 10 or 12. And what they don't realize is that's not just 10 or 12 words that you have. That's 10 or 12 emotions that you're going to allow yourself to experience because the words play a huge impact on how you actually feel about your life. So then look at them. If you split them up and you put bad ones on one side, good ones on the other, what you're likely to see is that maybe you have an even split of bad and good, and in terms of intensity, they're equally intense. So that means in your life, you can be, happy, positive, fun, but then at the same time, during the same day, you're going to feel stressed, tired, worn out. That kind of sucks on the whole. So what we want to do is we want to make the bad words, the bad emotions less intense, and the good ones more intense. And now this isn't to say that you need to deny the experience that you're having. A lot of people mean like, oh, so like if I, walk in and a bird craps on my head and I get hit by a bus and then I find out that I lose my job, I've got to tell everyone I'm phenomenal. No, but when you choose the word that you have to describe it, you are affecting how you feel about it. So if you say, "My life is over," okay, that's going to be how you feel. But if you said, "Man, today has been rough, like it's going to be difficult to get back on my feet, but I can," that is a completely different emotional state that you're in. So take the bad emotions. And what I want you to do is, if you need a thesaurus, go ahead, but find words that are going to be similar to the ones that you might have written down, but for you are less intense. So for instance, if you have annoyed, right, what is a less intense way that you could express or feel annoyed? Honestly, something that makes you chuckle is going to be really powerful. So maybe you're a bit peeved, right? Or instead of sad, you're like, kind of worn out. Whatever it is for you. If that's more intense, don't do it. But pick words for you that are going to be less intense than the bad words that you have. On the other side, you can do this now, you can do this after the video. Take the good words and make them more effusive. So instead of happy, be ecstatic, fantastic, phenomenal. Instead of excited, be thrilled, right? And when you write these down, it's almost impossible to say phenomenal in the same way that you say happy, right? They're just different feelings. So pick the words that for you have a much more stronger or a much stronger emotional impact. And then the idea is, similar to like we did with the first impressions, find a time in your day where you are likely to use either the bad words or the good words. Maybe it's when people ask you how work went. Maybe it's when people are asking you how your project is, or what's up with the relationship, or what's going on in your life. Figure out a time where you are likely to use one of these words, right? Of course, with the tiny habits, if you can do this all day and switch out the good ones for the better ones and the bad ones for the not so bad ones, that's amazing. But I know that's not the goal. The goal is once. So pick a time, set the trigger, and then sub out the word for the new replacement word. And what you'll find is as you build a habit of doing this, you're building a habit of choosing your emotional state. So instead of being really nervous and clamming up in a event that you might normally do that in, you can be a little bit uncomfortable but excited. And that is going to affect how you feel, which will trickle down right to your confidence. So set that intention, do that, fill these out if you've not yet done that, and then of course go back to sentence completion, because tomorrow we're going to touch on what exactly to do with the answers.